Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, 3M Open, final bets, weather, one and done, Underdog plays, and building DraftKings lineups with Toe Tag and Tambo, who's on the line with me, who I'm guessing did not win the $1 million last week, because I feel like I would have heard about that.
Yeah, you probably would have heard about that one, Pat. Did not happen. Nice little min cash, though. Congrats to me. So we'll see. Got to get back at it. That's the major season done. It's crazy that it's passed already, but it was a great major to watch. And I love that one. Even with the Scotty blowout, there was just a lot of other stuff going on. So, you know, that course, all the stuff around it, everything that people talked about, and then the Scotty storyline, it made for a pretty good major week to end the season.
All right, so everyone out there, smash the like, sub to the channel. You know the drill on that one. And I have the announcement that I've been talking about, Tambo, is going to be a separate video. You can check it out at the PME on X. It should be a part of my newsletter. I might do a standalone newsletter actually on Thursday as well for that, but that's coming later today. The deal was done. I just gotta finish this show, sign it, and we'll be off to the races. And I'm very excited. I told you what it was. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good. I think everybody's going to be extremely excited, and there's a bunch of different one-liners I could put to it, but I don't want to spoil it, so I'll let you just break it down as it comes, but should be some exciting news for everybody involved.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Should help you in your daily fantasy betting golf research game, put it that way. So what did you make of the Open in terms of DFS lineup construction? Where do you think that, I mean, I went way wrong, and you know what the problem was for me? I used too many losers from the bottom. And that's not, I tried to spread it out. If I had just stuck with, like, Kirk would have screwed me, but if I had just used Wrighton and who was the other dude? Jordan Smith from down there and Harris English, like, I feel like I would have been good, but all my Harris English lineups had Manacero in it, or it had Max Grazerman in it. I kind of screwed myself by spreading myself too thin, which is usually something I do at the top and not the other way around. I just inverted it for the Open, and it just screwed me up.
Yeah, I just had this conversation last night with a good friend. I talk about this stuff a ton with DFS Mastermind, and he's in the Mastermind program. We talked about it. Just a lot of the things I say in the past, it doesn't mean it's always right, but if you apply it to the Open as an example, everyone was freaking out about Scotty 14.2, and we continuously pounded the drum like this. It doesn't matter if they make that many. They had 9K golfers, the guys that we paid $9,900 for, like Harry Hall, were down at $6,400. Harris English, $8,700, down to $6,400. So when that happens, Matt McNeely, $6,100, there was just so many options of ways to get there. You need to take your stands, I think, down low, because outside of a JJ Spawn major winner, you're typically getting pretty strong major winners, and you could make a case for anybody. I know after it's done, it's hard to say it, but Scotty, Rory, if Bryson didn't have a bad day one, it could have been something else there. Everyone liked Rahm going into the week. Like, it's so hard to know who's going to win it from up top. And a lot of the cases people make are, well, Scotty doesn't finish top 3. First of all, 91% of the time he finishes top 10. So start there and then figure the rest out. But it's always the same thing at the Open. It's like, you know, people look at it that way. The pricing was so bad last week, down in the 6s, that you could kind of pick and choose whoever you wanted. Some people went to Haotong. You mentioned Jordan Matthews. So there was a ton of different ways to play Scotty. If you're playing a portfolio, I always recommend, you know, taking some stands down low and then mixing it up top, because it's hard to pick out who the actual winner is going to be, but you would suspect, usually outside of maybe JJ Spawn, the killer, it's going to be a big name up top there, and there was a ton of different ways you could play it last week.
What would be the one thing that you could have changed from last week when constructing your lineups? Was it, I mean, I don't mean like, hey, I should have locked Scotty because he won. I'm sure you used plenty of Scotty, but what was the one thing that you felt held you back more so, not in the 150 max build, but in playing the 444 and having the two lineups? Like, where'd you go wrong there?
Yeah, I feel good about what I played, actually. Like, for both those lineups, I had a Scotty lineup and I had a Rory lineup, and I liked it that way. I wanted to sort of have one shoot for the top. I thought it was between those two. Obviously, it was Scotty, but that lineup actually ended up being a 4 of 6. My other lineup was better and min cashed as a 5 of 6. I had Nick Taylor in there, and I guess the thing was for me in that lineup is it was already pretty unique in that I didn't play Hovland, I played JT, I didn't play McNeely, I played Taylor. But in looking at it in a smaller field like that, 757 entrants, I think with the moves I'd already made up top and the chalk that I was already off and the different roster construction that I used, I think I could have just played McNeely and got away with it. He was obviously popping off the page as a value and projection, so on and so forth. Wouldn't have done much. It was like a difference of $10,000. Not saying that's not much. I'm just, you get what I'm saying. It wasn't like it would have won me the millie. I'm just saying I think I overthought the last spot into the lineup there. It wasn't really that I love Nick Taylor as much as I want to make one more move. And even I overthink that a lot. Even though I explain that, I should say to people often, I still do it myself and overthink it on my own lineup. So just an example there of how hard the game can be at times.
Nick Taylor, he was another guy who boned me last week. Forgot about him. Thanks,
Grazerman
Nick.
too, by the way. We're going to talk about Grazerman this week, but
yeah, you
bounce back.
Here was the fun part about last week. I had people yelling at me over Max Grazerman and using him. You talked me into him, then everyone blamed me.
That's the best. That's how my salesmanship works here, Pat. Just line it up so you're the fall guy. But no, I think we got to go back. Third time's the charm. Obviously, a great result here last year. I know you posted something out earlier with Cool Bet, but just to all that aside, I do think it's just a spot that you can go back to him here, no problem. And I'm sure others think the same. He's priced way up again.
Kent actually had this question in the chat. You can always filter in the chat. We'll get to questions at the end of the show, but we'll splice some in from time to time. Kent asks, he can't believe that Rahm was so highly owned. Had you have known that Rahm was going to be that highly owned in the single entries, 3 max, and higher stakes, would you have full faded him?
No, and I don't, again, so back to the original question you asked me earlier, that's where people get so confused. Like, you don't have to full fade any of these guys up top if you take stands down low. And
no, what I'm saying is in 3 max single entry, like if you had known that he was going to be by far the most popular guy, would you have used him in a single entry?
Yeah, I don't know how anyone didn't know that this guy was going to be super popular. We talked about it on the show. I think it was you, Pat, that even said this guy could end up being the most popular up top because he fits all the roster builds. Like, people could start with Rory and play Rahm, or they could just start with Rahm. So I wasn't, I wasn't that shocked, if you will, for what his ownership came in at.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't play any Rahm. I didn't play any Bryson. My best lineups were, I just couldn't get a 6-6 with it. I had a bunch of Rory Scotty lineups.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's crazy because if you go back now and build, you can find it, right?
Like it's there. I just had the wrong guy. Like I think the best one that I had was Scotty, Rory, English all together, and with like 2 guys who missed the cut.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Nico, Nick Taylor, those kind of guys.
Yeah. The other thing was the guys down low, like who was it? Haotong, Akshay, McNeely, Hall, English. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys, but there was just so many guys that ended up coming through. And I know people get mad about that, like all the chalk hit, but the pricing was bad on those guys, and it was still somewhat spread out. Like, even an example, this is why I brought this up earlier for my mistake that I made, was I thought McNeely would get steamed even more in high stakes. It was kind of the opposite. He wasn't as high in the higher stakes as he was in some of the single entries and the low stakes stuff. He got up there big time. But in that, it was like 9% Nick Taylor, 12% McNeely. It wasn't even that much of a delta between the two. So it's just the way it goes sometimes. It's hard to get it right on everything, but that was one that surprised me as well. So that was just another note to add. Yeah,
basically it'd be like Scheffler, Rory, English, the Højgaards, because they were pretty cheap, and then like one of the other lower guys. I don't think that people were getting to Haotong. Like, what was Haotong's ownership? 0.2%?
I think it was 1 or 2%. I'm just saying there was guys down there that, the chalkier ones were the previous ones that we mentioned, but there was other options if you picked your guys down there. And I know that was one of the guys that people liked coming into the week. It just, you're never going to get super high ownership on anyone like him.
Yeah, like even Glover would have paid off for you pretty well.
Yes. Yep. All those options, when you look back at it, you're like, damn, I could have played that. And I know there was even some lineups, I think, that had Scotty Bryson that did quite well, because Bryson, while he had a horrible day one,
scored.
People always forget that bad day one, if they make it up the next 3 and get into the mix, that scoring that goes with it on top of the position placement points they end up with are just massive for DFS.
What do you make of this week's pricing when we take a look at it? Because we're now back to, it's not a subfield event, but it's a subfield event with a few guys is the way that I would try to describe it. I love these events. There's no Scotty. Maybe I can hit an outright winner. Probably won't, but at least it seems feasible to me at this point. And I do find it's funny. I think it was Rick who released it, that if you would bet $100 on Scotty to win every tournament this year, because Scotty's so dominant, I think you'd be up $185.
Yeah, that's the whole point why we never bet that guy. But someone said do it for 2024. We could go back and see what he won, 7 times or whatever. Sure. But
I think even last year, I think that if you had bet $100 on every Scotty tournament, I think that you would have won like $900.
It wasn't much. That's what I was just going to say. That's what I was kind of pointing towards, because our guy Byron too, at the Model Maniac, he'd posted out something like that last year, and it was showing like, I forget what show it was on. It might have been me and you. I forget what show this was talked about, but anyway, we broke it down, and it was like, sometimes it feels like you should just stick with your guys. And even on betting, from a betting perspective, like if you just have your 6, if you have your pool of 10 and they're not always going to be those 10 play the exact same events, but so you get 6 here, 7 there, 6 there. Like look at the Brian Campbell one that Rick posted out. And again, Brian Campbell ain't going to be your guy. Sorry to tell you. So fun chart, probably not going to be on anybody's radar betting him every week for $100. But just to note it, that was the point, Pat. Like if you bet Scotty every week, good job. Even on the year that he hits 7 times, probably not going to be a big year for you. If you bet your guys in that way and your guys come through, hopefully you're putting educated guesses and stuff behind it. That's where you can start to really rack it up, because you could get your 150 guy comes through, or your 75 guy comes through, or whatever, a couple 80-1 guys come through. That's where you could look at it differently versus trying to switch gears every single week.
My first impressions of the 3M as it pertains to DraftKings and even betting is that everyone is on exactly the same guys this week.
Yes, twofold. I can tell you this from past experience here, being there for the live final the year Todd won. One of my buddies there, he won the live final. That this year it's there again, and just doing a ton of deep dive from that year and beyond. I can tell you that this is one where it's hard to explain it in the best way, but like people talk about the water so much, Pat, and I had this yesterday. People trying to say like, oh, we need to find the guys that avoid water. Yeah, no shit. Like that's exactly.
Don't hit it. I know from even just, I'm not a professional golfer, but I can tell you, even from my rounds, not hitting it into the water, good strategy.
Really helps you when it comes to DraftKings as well. Yes, surprise, surprise, shocker. But the main point is when you have, it's like a double whammy, because you've got, there's so much water, which leads to more variance, but then everybody is playing the same guys. And I bring him up because when he won the live final that year, and it's a smaller field for sure, but this still applies across the board for how you're building towards any type of field this week, is very low 6-6, right? Because he won it with a 5-6 that year. That's how crazy it gets. People really just hop in on the same guys, and then when they know there's that much variance, it doesn't even add up. It's like 1 + 1 = 3. That's just not right. So it doesn't really work that way. And we almost can have a perfect storm, but I'm definitely going to be looking to avoid some of the chalk bombs, if you will, down low.
We'll see if we can find them. Even the chalk bombs up top, because a lot of big end guys end up missing the cut. It's very easy to miss the cut here with one really poorly timed shot.
For sure.
Even when I did the research show and was walking through it, like number 18 is a hole that you can make eagle on, but I think it has a 5% double or worse rate too. Like that's a 3-shot swing.
Yep.
4-shot swing.
And the certain guys that when you see the names, and we'll get down there, but like Andrew Putnam obviously looks great, projects super well, top 20 odds, phenomenal.
I bet him.
Right. He's going to get in something like the live final. He could get to 45% this week because he's 7K. Who gives a shit? He doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to do anything. Just make me a cut. But if he doesn't make the cut, that is such a huge advantage for the part of the field that did not go to him. And obviously that applies all across the board. Just it helps even more in the events where he shows up at 40%.
All right. Well, let's get to my final bets of the week. I'm going to finalize my first round leader bets because I was looking at the weather. We can kind of merge these into one. Actually, let's talk about the weather first. Basically, no wind the entire week, but it does look like it's going to rain overnight tonight and into a little bit of the early morning, but stop before the guys actually get on the course. I don't think it's going to be lift clean in place, but that early wave, I don't think it's going to be like enough that you just stack the early guys, but I think that the greens will be softer. They might have a chance to pin seek a little bit more. So for first round leader, I think that the potential to go lower exists in the AM wave.
Yeah. What's the rain look like to you? Is that a significant? I'm not the best. I'm not a meteorologist, thankfully, and I don't have to predict this stuff. I'll just take it from others and use it towards whatever we're doing. But what do you see with that rain, or how do you sort of look at that? Is that enough rain to matter, or what's your thoughts?
It'll be like an inch over. Like it'll soften up the course enough that by midday it'll be completely fine, and it won't be soggy and waterlogged when you get out there. Just I would expect that the greens would be firmer after noon than it would be in the morning because it looks like the rain goes until 5 a.m. or something like that. It's not going to be enough to waterlog the course. It's going to be very playable. You could probably play. Depending on how hard it comes down, you could probably play in I've played in that sort of rain before. I don't like to play in the rain, and I play poorly in the rain. I even slipped off of a hill hitting a ball the other day, playing in like misty conditions. That was no fun. But you can play through this. Therefore, I just do think it softens up a little bit, and there's like virtually no wind to speak of.
Yeah, so virtually no wind, and also the temps, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels more in check. I know it'll be humid because being there before, it definitely was super hot, sweaty, humid type week, but it doesn't look like the temps get out of hand this week or anything. Like it's not, the morning goes from 75 to the afternoon goes to 84. Like you're looking at like a 10-degree swing, not like some of these weeks where we see in Florida and whatnot, where it's 65 in the morning, 70, and it gets up to 95 in the afternoon and things start to bake out and all of that. So just interesting way to look at it, but that's what I'm seeing right now, at least.
If we had 84 degree, I played in 84 degree, 85 degree weather the other day. I played with Cust and beat him by 500 strokes. Not as Cust would describe, 85 degree weather, not fat man golf weather.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, it's going to be hot still from that perspective. But I just mean, feel like it's not 95 to 100 where it's going to be, really, really crushing them. But we'll have to see. But someone just said so muggy right now, and that's what it's going to be. When I was there, that's how it was. It sucked for sure, but it can be worse. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, listen, and it's golf. You're playing outside. Yeah, I guess there's no wind. That's kind of like help. It won't help you cool off a little bit. Especially there's fat man golf and non-fat man golf. I appreciate playing. I have such an advantage, especially when we're walking, playing against my playing partners when it's 30 degrees Celsius. It's like 85 Fahrenheit. But I got beat by one of our good friends. He's a bigger dude, but it was like 20 degrees, which was what, like 65 degrees. Yeah. And it was like a little bit overcast. You just beat the shit out of me.
He got you on the weather wave. That's why he's stacking waves. He found the right wave and he took out Mr. Mayo. Love to see it.
Yeah. We play at a very hilly course. Like these guys they get really tired when it gets so hot out. And, I usually just go outside and run in this sort of weather. It's my type of weather.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and I get too cold. Rain's also, like I said, not my friend when it comes down to it. But I got the final bets for the week. It seems like even if everyone's playing the same people on DraftKings, they're also betting exactly the same guys this week. So I have Grazerman. He's actually boosted up on CoolBet right now to 40-1 if you want to get him. I bet him early in the week at 33. Probably shouldn't have done that because I think he's hanging 28 or 35 in most places. But CoolBet is the best number in the world right now at 40-1. If you want to go do that, you can hit the description or scan the QR code. And you can get directly to the PME exclusives page. I also have a boosted parlay up there for Knapp and Bridgman top 20. So I bet Grazerman 33, Knapp at 40, Thorbjornsen at 45. Everyone's betting two of those three guys this week. Thorbjornsen's down to like 30-1 right now, or 25-1. Kevin, 55-1. Lee Hodges 65-1. And the aforementioned Jacob Bridgman at 66-1. Those are the six. I got three bombs, Putnam with 5 places, Eckroat with 5 places, and I've been talked into Big Dick Vic Perez, another very popular bet this week at 125-1 with 5 places. Now I'm going to look at the first round leader market. The only one that I have bet so far has been Cam Champ. Obviously, he's won here. He's been playing really well in first rounds in general over the past month or so. So if he gets what I perceive to be the lower potential scoring conditions with a softer course, he's 70-1. The short list would include a name that I wrote down that I cannot make out because I scribbled it at this point. Bridgman and John Pack and Jackson Suber were other ones. Basically, I was just looking at approach and putting, guys that are like top 20 in both of those, and just try to roll with it from the early wave.
Yeah, I like that. I was just going to look it up on my app right now. I think I'm going to get in on Champ and Suber with you. That's I like the Jackson, the Suber Trooper. Get that guy rolling at 6,900 on DraftKings and AM Wave. So maybe we can get him for first round leader, like you said. That's where I want to take him.
Can we get Jackson Suber and William Mao to play? We can get Right Meow in the Super Troopers. That could be the Super Trooper team at the Zurich.
Yeah, well, one's coming off of a win recently.
Yeah. Are you going with him?
Don't know, but it's 7K this week, so we'll see when we get there.
I don't know if he's significantly better than guys that are potentially lower than him.
Watch him when he works over Putnam at 40% and he's 1%.
Look, I think betting Putnam is the way to play Putnam this week.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just all going to end bad probably, but yeah, it's Putnam.
Sure. Listen, if he comes fourth, I'm going to be very happy about that.
Exactly.
AMs, I'm going to look up some past 3 months AM scoring average. This is from our friends at the Rabbit Hole. Cam Champ is number 1. Knapp, Putnam, Goddard, Taylor Montgomery are the top 5 over the last 3 months of scoring from the AM wave. It's a pretty big discrepancy from their PM wave as well. Other dudes on there, Sam Burns, who's not in the AM wave, he's in the AM wave. Kevin Yu, I think, was the other guy that I was looking at for first round leader. He plays really well in the AM wave. Very popular play this week as well, but he's kind of exactly the guy that you want at this course. Like, he might go 80 because he just bombs it into the water, but everything that he does well is perfect for this course.
Yeah, I think that one's fine as well. That's a popular one this week, but probably for good reason. I see that as, I guess, the other question is when we get to it later, but like Kevin Yu or Akshay Bhatia?
Well, Akshay, listen, I if I hadn't made so many bets early, I probably would have bet Akshay, but how do you feel about and maybe it's a nothing to you. It's one of those things that you can't quantify it, so why even look at it? But it's the same reason I'm not playing Goddard this week. I mean, it's twofold why I'm not playing Goddard this week. More on that in a second. Sure. But the guys that actually played late into the Open and now playing here, I think it's one thing to go out there with like a stress-free round. But like Akshay kind of played pretty deep into Sunday.
Yeah.
And Goddard had like an Open, like a second place paycheck at the Open Championship on the line. Like, dude crushed. But it's interesting to see that his like 2 best putting performances ever came on the world's slowest greens the past 2 weeks.
Have you ever made 2.7 million in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
There you go. So how did it feel after that? Did you feel just as motivated to wake up on Monday and do your thing? You're the hardest working man in the biz. How did you feel after that?
I feel like that was a week where I only did 5 shows instead of 6.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, Goddard is an interesting one because when we get to it later, obviously betting is different and things. I get all that, but just looking at him from a different perspective, I don't know if he'll be popular in one and done, which I'm sure we'll go to in a second.
He will not be popular in one and done.
Right. And people just love to, last week is the example with Goddard. He can't do it again. He won the Scottish Open. So what? Now he's not going to do shit at the Open, right? That's what everyone assumed. And boom, goes out and crushes it again. Potgieter, I know he withdrew in the 3rd round, but off of his win, he was playing just fine as well. Like I think that's always like a thing in DFS specifically, but even in betting and one and done and all the different factors, when people are bringing these factors into what they're doing, that's one of the biggest ones where they look at it and like, oh, well, it can't happen again. That was just a fluke. The guy could just keep playing good. He was playing good before the win too. That's why he was good, popular that week.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. I'm just trying to find out what we got here. None of these guys. Like Garrick Higo WD'd last week. Of note, Toasty is out of the field as well. Let's see. Goddard up last week. Let's go down here. Yeah, 1st and 3rd. He's been on a pretty good run. He had 3 consecutive top 20s before that, or top 30s before that, 5 of 6, including the US Open, where he had played really well. Just these putting numbers are off the charts for him. And it doesn't line up with anything he's ever done in his career. That would be my biggest worry with Goddard, that we get back to fast greens and all of a sudden he can't putt anymore. For fun, I will tell you this. I played yesterday. I played 2 of the past 4 days, and I've shot 2 pretty bad rounds. I was like pretty mid-70s, high 70s for about a week or so, and I've been hitting the ball even sometimes better in these past 2 rounds, but they re-rolled the greens at my course, and I've shot 86 and 88 the past 2 times I was out, and I can't get speed control down at all. Like what the greens were, what I was used to at that course just isn't right anymore because they play so much faster. I had 43 putts while shooting an 88. I 3-putted from inside 2 feet twice.
Yeah, that's going to be always the struggle, and you've told me about other weeks where it's been sort of the opposite effect, so it's really the game of golf for you, man. It makes it tough. But while you were doing that, I was betting 1st round leaders, Pat, while you're talking about that. And I added 2 more that you didn't have.
Okay, let me hear them. Because I've only bet champ. I'm just throwing out the mix. I think I will get it on John Pack though. Okay,
I did add Suber. I might add Pack now that you said it, just gambling with you. Because I know you love like anything anybody tells you, just throw it in and make the bet. Someone told me in the chat, Sungjae crushes it in round 1. Hi, Tambo. That's my boy Jordan. So yeah, I'm going to be in on that one, 55. And then the other guy I kind of like in the morning that I just scrolled through and his name popped up for whatever reason is Ventura. Ace Ventura.
Chris Ventura, the birdie detective.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna hope he's gonna be on the case.
We'll see. I will not follow those 2 with you. Sungjae hurt my feelings so badly on Sunday at the Open. Finally his approach play started to look good for 3 rounds again. I was like, this is awesome. He made 4 birdies and an eagle and shot 4 over the final round.
That's my boy, man, Sungjae for you, but he could put salt in the wound. That's his first round leader bet, Pat. So you might not want to miss it.
I think I'd rather, I guess, Knapp's not playing. I mean, you don't have to take guys in the morning. That's just the angle I'm choosing to take.
Yeah, somebody pointed out too, if you go to the current super forecast,
Super
troopers and forecasts, if you go there to the same one we were just looking at, there is much higher winds in the morning. It's not, I mean, more gusty, I should say, if anything.
There is. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm seeing this right now. There also seems to be a lot less rain as well. Why is it so different between those two pages on the same website?
It's hedge life.
I mean, that's the move. I do it for a living. I guess the meteorologists are doing it for a living as well. Yeah, the winds do seem to be a bit up. I'm not too concerned about that, honestly.
No, I think it'll be fine. And I think the rain is, from everybody that's there right now and talked about it, I think the rain is still in play and coming in. So I think it'll still be pretty soft for them out there first thing in the morning.
Yeah, you said it wasn't very hot. They have a severe weather warning for heat advisory because it's going to be up to 90 degrees there today.
The relative humidity. Now, today, you're right, actually. Today, it looks like 90, 88. Yeah, it's much hotter there today than Thursday. Friday doesn't even get over 84, really. So that's the interesting thing.
All right. So one and done. Fell back a little bit because I ended up going with Straka last week. Dude didn't play poorly. He just couldn't get anything going. I think he had 18 pars on Sunday.
Yeah, he was another guy that sort of made it into some of the lineups you saw around the top, even at that $7,400 price tag. And you thought he was going to be pretty good for the week. And like I said, he wasn't bad. He just didn't do enough, I guess, if you will. But for me, it's more and done than it is one and done. But we can talk about it for sure. But I'd say it's over for me.
Yeah, it's not over for me. I'm still lingering in 86, and we got the playoff. We got the playoff events coming up. I'm guessing Grazerman, Thorbjornsson, Kitayama will probably be the ones if you haven't used Burns yet. If you haven't used Burns yet, Burns's play is either this week or St. Jude.
Yeah, Burns is, I think, where people are going to go because he's 35 or 38% left. I was looking at it this morning. McNeely might be another guy that people go to. I think he's 50% or so. Pendrith, 50%. Somewhere in there. I'm not sure what people are going to save these guys for, if anything. So they might use them over the others, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'm going to use Kevin Yu.
I like it. Stick with it, run it, and roll it out there.
Yeah, see what we're doing. It'll be hard to fall too much this week or next week. Like the big fall will come in the first two legs of the playoffs, the final two events in the one and done at fantasygolfchampionships.com. Of note, if you want to make all your picks from an app now, it's all on the Fanball app. Just go Apple, Android store, just search Fanball and you can get your one and done. It's all synced up through there. If you just want to do it on the app, we're looking up and up for the one and done. I think I talked it over with them earlier this week that I think that the prize pool is going up for next year, over $1 million guaranteed.
Very nice. Yeah, it's always fun at the start of the season for me, but after that it kind of falls off. I'm still excited for you though. You got one up there, and for Papa Tambo sitting 144th.
Oh, so well into the money.
Well into the money, still making moves, and he's got a few guys left. So we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. But I think he's going Mav this week. I think he likes McNeely.
It's not a bad idea. So let's talk about Underdog very quickly. Do you think that it worked out really well? Was it the Scottish 2 weeks ago that it was one of those courses where greens and regulation were really high, but fairway was really low. And I ended up hitting like a 4, a 6, a 3, and a 2 all in that first round. I just kind of forgot about it and didn't play it the rest of the week. Had a bad run. Sungjae was the one who blew this up for me. I thought he would go lower than even par in his final round just with the way that he was playing, and just couldn't do that for me. What a jerk.
Right. That's what Sungjae does, man. He hurts feelings, like you said. That's why the intervention exists if you want to, get involved. But this is the thing. What do you think for Underdog this week? What's your setup here that you're lining up?
I was going to try to take, they have fairways and greens and regulation into the mix. Now, because of the water, fairways might be a little bit easier because guys might lay back a little bit more just to avoid some of that danger, whereas greens might end up going lower because if guys do get too aggressive, they might go in the water. If they go in the water, it's not like missing the fairway and hitting it into the rough. You're not hitting a green in regulation if you hit it into the water. It's basically impossible unless you have a really big 3-wood on a par 5 left to go in after you put it into the water, like you could do on 18, although most guys don't get it to the water on 18 with the drive. You drive it up that side, you either lay up to the left or where you go over the water for your second shot. I really like it because you've been there too. I really like this course.
I do. Yeah, I definitely do. I think it's a great spot. And I like the one you're headed to in a couple of weeks as well in Memphis. So
yeah, Southwind. I'm going to see if I can. I was already talking to one guy about potentially playing around with viewers. If you're in the Memphis area, I'm going to try to figure out what my schedule is for there and shooting with the PGA Tour. And when I'm off, I was thinking about getting 3 people together and going out and hitting around.
Yeah, that's nice. We're going to go to Michigan for the Live Team Championship in August.
Fun.
I'm excited. I heard they put on an amazing event, but it's the team championship, so it should be everybody there. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much you love house music, and you can just rave the entire time.
No, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be great. I've never been to a live event. I talk about it all the time. I don't care what people think about the league. I'm saying I've heard they put on a great event. I want to check one out. It's perfect. So end of August is gonna be in Michigan. Checking that out.
Yeah, I think I would like to. It's like I've been to an XFL game, like the first Gen 1 XFL.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that I went to it. I kind of want to go to a live event before live doesn't exist anymore.
Well, revenues, what did they say today? Sponsorships are up 10x from last year.
Well, what's 10x of 0?
Well, that's what people say, but have you looked at their sponsorship list?
No.
Some pretty solid names on there, actually. Some big companies.
I'm sure that there are. And it might be, here's the thing. You can't trust anything that's coming out of live because the Saudis could have just paid these companies to sponsor live. They have that much money.
It's their own investment into their own sponsorships.
Yeah. Like that, if I had trillions of dollars for my golf league and I wanted to make it look more prestigious, I would go to some of these companies and be like, look, you can do dealings with the Saudi government for this amount of discount, but you have to sponsor live golf as well.
Yeah, perfect setup. It's a win-win for both sides, but that's where I think some of it's coming from. But on paper, I don't, who knows what they can actually show or what it is. It is what it is, like I said, but I think going to an event is where I hear the fun is at, and I'm excited to check it out for that reason. And I still like a lot of those guys, Bryson, Rahm, DJ. I still want to see all these guys play. So it'd be pretty sweet to go check it out and be able to see it live in person.
I wish they were giving us more on Cam Champ. That's a guy that I wanted to play in round 1. Let's see here. Early Finau.
Are they not giving the fairways on everybody, or is you just got to click more picks?
Yeah, they're not doing it for everybody, just sort of the bigger names.
So one of the things I like to look at, like just an example, I actually do think they could hit more fairways here. So like, who's that on the top right now? That's 1.07.
Wyndham Clark. That's for lower though.
No, fairways hit higher.
Oh, fairways hit higher. Yeah, fairways hit higher for old Windy C.
When I like looking at this, I know again, this is it's almost like playing the game like with DFS and not the the picks and the plays. Everyone's all about Windy C's driver stats say this. I don't care. Like I'm if you're targeting 8.5 is the number and you think it can be beat, just play it. Look for all the guys that are 1.07, then pick who you feel best about with it, because I know you don't want to play the guys that are sitting at 0.69 or 0.87, that sort of thing. I get that. But if you're targeting an angle, it shouldn't necessarily matter on what you're doing at that point. If you can take the lowest number possible with the best odds, I'm fine with it.
McNeely, Wyndham Clark pays 4-1.
9.5 for McNeely, which is fair, but that just goes to show that they're thinking it's even more possible for some of these other guys. So yeah, that's great.
What are we doing for Thorbjornsen here? No, his higher is 8.5, and it's like it's way down. You could probably play him lower if you really wanted to.
What do you got for the other options here?
Akshay 9.5. That's just even money. Grazerman is at 8.5.
8.5 even money for Grazerman?
Yeah,
I'd take that over the Bhatia extra you need. Again, just to play the edge. What's the difference? So it's not like, again, doesn't mean this will work out. I'm just saying when I'm explaining it to people, I know a lot of people go through here like, oh, I heard this guy, and this guy. I better put them all on a card. That could work. Or you could just target an edge or an angle that you think exists and then play it for that. That's how I would look at it.
All right, let's get rid of one of these guys. Grazerman 8.5 higher, Knapp 8.5 juice to 115 higher, Wyndham Clark 8.5 juice to 107, Mad McNeely juice to 115.
I would just take out the McNeely and say they all need to hit 9.
All right, let's do it.
It's fine.
$100 pays $664.
And if we truly think those numbers are bad, or why they're juicing it in certain places is because they see 10, 11 possible, etc. That's, I mean, maybe not quite that high, but I'm just saying if they see that as a possibility based on the odds we're seeing on other options, we're just targeting the angle. And not like these are bad golfers, really. That's the other thing. It's just, that's the whole point. So Yeah, I like this type of setup. Whether it works or not, we'll find out. But I definitely think this is the way to go when you're attacking an angle.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat saying that Sung Jae's had an excellent round one track record here. This is Jordan in the chat. Sung Jae, 65 round one, 2019, 2022, 70 in 2023. I guess my pushback would be he was good then.
He was it's actually he weighed a little bit more back then. Sung Jae Slim has not been so good since it's he's cut down the weight.
All right, well, let's dig into the DraftKings picks, which we will do after you smash the like, sub to the channel, and watch this ad. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Part of my wellness routine this year, at least in the summer, has been focus more on family and focus more on Pat Mayo. So I've been doing fewer shows, upping the exercise, eating better, and a lot of people don't have the privilege and luxury that I do to be able to take time off like that, especially during the summer when stuff can start to stress you out. If you have kids, there is no summer for you. It's just daily, nonstop grinding every single day. Couple that with workplace stress, and it's a bit difficult. Workplace stress right now is one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing a higher than normal amount of stress. So maybe BetterHelp is exactly what you need to do. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you feel anything going on with you, you need to go to betterhelp.com/PatMayo right now. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. My listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PatMayo. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. If you're looking to up your game this summer, Tour Striker Online Golf Academy gives you the real coaching you've been missing. Monthly personal swing analysis. You send in your swing, boom, you'll get your feedback from a coach every single month. Premium weekly video tips, an expanded and enhanced library of tips reserved only for Academy members. I've been digging into these ones since I got my Tour Striker Online Golf Academy account, and my short game really starting to improve. That's where I needed to go immediately, and boom, there were tons of tips for me to help myself get up and down for par instead of just making bogey everywhere. Many golfers make getting better way harder than it needs to be. They try to Frankenstein a swing by watching some YouTube videos and an Instagram reel, and all of those tips don't work in conjunction with each other, which you're going to get at the Tour Striker Online Golf Academy. And the worst part is, if you do it by Frankensteining it together, you pick up bad habits that are really hard to unlearn. I know, I went through this for years. It's frustrating, it's slow, and it leaves you stuck way longer than you need to be. So what you need to do is head to tourstriker.com/TSGA and use the code MAYO to get your first month of Tour Striker Golf Academy online free, plus instant access to 2 bonus courses, the recipe for better golf and bombs, and how to consistently smash the driver, a $194 value. That's tourstriker.com/TSGA, then use the code MAYO. Welcome back. Smash the like while you're here. In the comment section after the show, give me your favorite play from the $6,000 range. I'm curious to see where everyone is at on that. Tambo, while we were watching that ad break and people learned how much better my chipping is getting, here's the problem. My chipping has gotten so much better, but now I keep missing 3-foot putts.
Yeah, that's going to be your challenge. You've already talked about it. But the thing is, if you can start making those, Pat, what's your best score yet so far this year?
75.
Oh, wow. So it's really good. So yeah, you could crack 70.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
70. I just want to crack 70. My goal at the beginning of the year was to shoot under par on a 9 and to crack 75. And in the round where I shot 75, I shot 1 under on the back. So I did that part, tied the 75. I just need to get over the hump. But my putting was so good for like 6 straight weeks and it's just gone. I see, like, when you take a look at people's, like, even professionals, player cards, that the moment that you lose confidence with it, you can see how it snowballs on you.
Yeah, you got to be able to crack. You got to get a 69 on the card. That's what you got to do, and double whammy it and hit them both.
I tweeted out this photo. Someone had sent it to me. It was some guy who's like wanted in Toronto, and the dude, I thought he looked like Cust was what I thought. But I showed it to my wife. I was like, "Who do you think that is?" They're like, she was talking about you. So my wife totally forgot your name, but her description of you was, it looks like Cust had a baby with that guy that you work with who has the super hot blonde wife. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Way above, but that's perfect. I appreciate that.
So that's how my wife remembers you in her mind.
That's the Christmas parties, baby. Can't wait.
Yeah, there we go. The Christmas party's a time. You guys couldn't come this year. You got to come next year.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got to sneak our way into when's Sale GP coming back? That was the big one going around last time.
I'm trying to rent out a hotel room for Sale GP, so I don't have to like go somewhere like and stand like a goober. That I can just watch it from my hotel room and have people there. That would be much easier for me.
You, your wife, me, my super hot wife, the blonde wife, that'd be perfect. That's a good spot. I want to be able to watch Sale GP this year or next year, whenever it comes back. I think it's next year.
Yes, next year it's going to be here in the summer. It was a lot of fun last night. If no one's actually, I had never heard of Sale GP before it was here. It's like shockingly fun to watch.
Oh, I thought it was great. Yeah.
All right, so I pulled up a lineup here on the screen of what I think is going to be a relative chalk build this week. This version of it. It is Sam Burns, Grio and Thorbjornsen with Akshay, Kevin Roy, and Doug Gibb.
All right, I got the nut chalk build, but let me punch this one in to see how close these are. So Thor, and then you got Grio Burns,
Sexy Roy,
Gim,
and Akshay.
Yeah, Akshay's definitely in there. Roy, and who was the last guy? Gim? Yeah, Gim's probably up there too. So let's see. Oh, wow. It projects the exact same right now, Pat.
All right. What was yours?
Mine was also with Sam Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went, the three guys at the bottom are Putnam, Bhatia, Hostler.
Hostler. Okay.
Yep.
And that turns out poorly for everyone.
Yeah. And then it puts Akshay and
Knapp and Kitayama.
Or sorry, it's Pendrith and you to go with Putnam, Bhatia, Hostler. So yeah, it's Pendrith, you, Burns at the top. 8K is Bhatia and you, and then Hostler and Putnam in the 7s.
All right. I don't think that Pendrith's going to be that popular.
Yeah, it just depends.
When they start giving, here's a good indication that people are not on someone. When I logged into Bet this morning, they were giving me a boost up to 55-1 on Pendrith. They're begging for Pendrith money.
Yeah, it's more in projections. So in like the DFS streets, and people are using for projections, he's gonna get a boost for sure.
Let's see. Optimizer build. Burns, Goddard, McCarty, Chandler, Phillips, Kevin Yu, and Tom Kim was the highest projected points one in terms of how that came out. But that's not factoring in a ton of ownership.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that stands out, but let me see that one. I definitely think Putnam and Bhatia would be the guys for sure that I would put in there.
I see. I thought Putnam for sure as well, but I can see just depending on how much money that you have left. If you go down, I think it's Putnam, but if you have money left over, I think it's Gim or Roy.
I don't see Roy. That's my question. Like, you like him. I don't.
I just think that anyone who uses any sort of modeling is going to be like, whoa, if this guy just putts, he's going to win.
It's possible. I think like even Bez could have more ownership than him at 72.
We have him projected this is obviously from Fantasy National users, but he's being spit out in around 15, 16% of lineups.
That's the Mayo effect. People know that your boy Toy Roy.
I'm not even betting him this week, but that was me. So from down there, it's like ownership wise to look at the tiers. McNeely and Burns are going to be super popular. Grazerman, Knapp, Thompson, and Kitayama going to be super popular. Then you're into Thorbjornsen and Grio and Burns together. I think are going to be the most popular starting combination. That would be my guess.
There's nobody at 96 this week, is there? No. So nobody can really get.
Just put in Ricky for 95.
Yeah, I don't think that happens as much as I think it was Feinberg said, I was proud of Ricky last week. Yeah, love to see that. Ricky showing up at the event. We thought that could be the case, but it looks like more kind of a maybe Burns and Grazer.
Is Kevin Yu in your lineup?
Yes.
So get rid of Kevin Yu and use Cam Champ. I think Cam Champ comes in higher than Kevin Yu.
Let's see if Champ comes in.
Because I think if it's between $8,000 guys and that's all you have left, I think people pick Akshay over Kevin Yu. And if they want to save the money to upgrade somewhere else, they just use Cameron Champ instead.
Yeah, it lands you in the exact same spot and difference in $100. I definitely think you will be way higher on the Cam Champ here. People like betting Champ and know his history, but again, I don't know if it's like a new world thing or whatever. I just the way I view it, but I think like what matters most is what the projection sites are doing. So many people are using a site, whether it's Ship It Nation, Establish the Run, different sites out there for projections, and those are moving the needle on where the ownership is going. So
and Kevin Yu does right now. I'm looking at projections right now. Kevin Yu is much higher than Cameron Champ. I just think that anyone who goes into look at it, we all know Kevin Yu is a better player, but then you have Cam Champ as one here, and Cameron Champ is probably just more well known than Kevin Yu is.
Yeah, what I was trying to figure out is if you move off Burns to McNeely, because I feel like there is always, okay, Burns is going to get played because he's just the guy at the very top. But I think McNeely could be more popular here just based on McNeely and then coming through last week at the low price tag, getting the boost now. So I really think McNeely is going to get boosted up here. So McNeely, just trying to see, McNeely, Bhatia. I don't know, Burns will be close. They'll be pretty close in ownership, I think. But after that, other guys in the sevens, like
I just think that what I have up on the screen now, Burns, Thorbjornsen, Griot is going to be the shell if you want the chalk build, and then fill in whatever else you do.
Yeah, if you go McNeely, Bhatia, Putnam, you can get like Yu, Si Woo, and Sam Stevens or something. But yeah, I don't know how popular that'll end up being. So I like the first versions we had. Yeah,
I like Eckroth this week. Let's throw him in. You mentioned Putnam is at 7,000. Also use Vic Perez just to make it a little bit different. Not that he's not he'll be less popular than Putnam, but more popular than, I don't know, Hayden Springer or Chairman Mao or Patrick Rogers or one of those guys. Not enough that you have to care about it. Then you're left with 84, which gets you back up to not enough. Gets you to like Homa. So we could figure out. Is there anyone at 68? Fisk, I guess, is there. That's not really helping you,
Ventura. What's he get us to?
Let's see. From the bottom, once you get past Putnam, I see no one carrying ownership.
What were you going to swap to there with 68? Because you got Burns. Take Burns out.
Yeah, you know what? If you just go Burns to McNeely,
okay,
you can play Suber instead. Actually, you can play Putnam instead. Then you're looking at McNeely, Thorbjornsen, Griot, Kitayama, Putnam, and Eckroth.
So no more Perez. Get McNeely in there, and then it lands you on Putnam?
Yeah.
And this is with... Who else do you have here?
Thorbjornsen and Griot. So it's a 10, 3 8Ks, 2 7s.
What about Hayden Springer?
Fuck that guy. I'd rather Superman that hoe. Do we have to play Suber and Kevin Yu together because of that?
Yeah, we do, actually. We definitely do.
So there's the chalk build of the week if you're playing the Soldier Boy lineup.
No, and you got to put Mao in there too for the Super Trooper side of it. So you get the double entendre. You get both of them in there. So if we go Mao, Suber, and Yu, who else would round out this? You can kind of just play the Bhatia chalk probably.
No, you go Grazerman, Knapp, Wyndham, Clark.
There you go. Grazerman, Knapp, Wyndham, and leave a hundo. Perfect. Solid.
You could probably do Grazerman, Clark into Thorbjornsen and Burns too. I think that works out exactly the same. That's a 2v2.
Burns Kitayama.
Maybe it's just me. I've been burned by Kitayama so many times. I'm just like, yeah, I see that he's popular. I see people are betting him. It's like, I know how this turns out.
Maybe I would just play. Would you, out of these three, who do you like with Bez, EVR, and Hubbard?
Oh, God, I don't like any of those guys.
Really? I think I would try it. It projects pretty good with Bez in there. If you go Suber, Bez, Yu, Burns, Knapp, Thor, 10 with 3 8Ks, a 7 and a 6. That's pretty interesting. I took Mao out of there.
Let me throw that up. It was what? You said it was Burns?
You can just import what you just had. I took Mao out and I moved him up to Bez, and it projected pretty well.
Bez, Christian Bezadenhout. Oh, yeah, there you go. So Burns, Knapp, Thorbjornsen, you, Suber, Seabez.
That's what I went with.
I could see a lot of lineups looking like this.
Yeah.
It's just you're basically playing a 2v2 in that lineup with Bez and Suber against Putnam and Perez kind of thing. That's what it feels like to me, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's tough to say. Let me just see this quickly. But okay, so Burns, McNeely, some will still get to Goddard up. I think Siwoo, Pendrith get a little bit of steam. Probably Grazerman. People still like him. Maybe
I put it this way. I'm seeing no one being relative here, but like literally no one's on Sungjae. That's one at 9,000. After that, Wyndham Clark is probably going to be the lowest. Homa is going to be pretty low. And then formerly a guy everyone played every week, Luke Clanton. No one's using him either.
Yeah, no one wants Clanton this week at 8,100 because you've got Akshay and you right there underneath him. So that's the tricky part. No, it seems like there's other guys that are sort of left alone here, though, like Keith Mitchell. Nobody's really talking about. Homa, Jake Knapp is less than usual, it looks like. So
I like Knapp a lot. I actually just looked at Clanton's stats. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, Davis Thompson, another guy that people usually like. He's at 8,800, and it looks like Kitayama and guys below him would steal from him as well.
Stealing his lunch. So let's go Thompson, Clanton. Let's throw those guys in. Because I get that Sam Burns is the best player in this field. Sam Burns is a lot closer to Davis Thompson at this point in time than he is to actual guys who win golf tournaments.
Yeah.
In my mind, maybe Sam Burns lights it up here and goes on a run, but
so I'm just trying to see now. Like that's my thoughts are always when you do something like that, what else can you do? I think this is a prime example of where, like on paper, some will say, "Well, if Bhatia is chalk, that's terrible." But you can when you're playing Bhatia, most are playing him as the only 8K guy in their lineup, or with another chalkier 8K guy like you. So a different way to play this and then still get away with the popular play in Bhatia is we're on Clanton and Thompson, and then you can do whatever you want from there. Like if you want to put your guy Eckroat in at the bottom to get different, you can do that. You can kind of get away with anything at this point. What do you got?
Clanton, 6 8K guys. Clanton, Thompson, Akshay, you, Thorbjornsen, and Mitchell.
Mitchell, Thorbjornsen, and you? Yeah, that's super different. Actually projects pretty good too. It's just
I would guess that it would. Like those are all quote unquote safe guys this week, but these are the guys that people are betting to, except no one's betting Clanton, but they were as up into a month ago, that these were all guys that people would legitimately bet to win tournaments at 50 to 1.
If you who are the guys you like at the top? Grazerman, and who's the other guy you said?
Knapp.
So Grazerman, Knapp, and Suber. Wow, that's interesting.
Because I bet Lee Hodges as well. So if you got rid of Davis Thompson and turned him into Grazerman, you could then take Kevin. Kevin used not enough. You could take Mitchell.
You can play Thompson, Clanton, Bhatia, Grazerman, Hodges, you. That's pretty good.
Say that again. Clanton, Grazerman.
Yep, Clanton, Grazerman. Keep Bhatia, keep you. Change Thorb to who do we have in there?
You go Jake Knapp, Lee Hodges.
Thompson, but you could go Knapp as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I go Knapp, Lee Hodges.
That's a good way to do it.
How much is Bridgman? I haven't really. He's 75. That's the other way you could do it too. You could have the lineup that I had just previously built, but you don't do. Let's see. You get rid of Knapp. You turn Knapp back into Thorbjornsen, and then you turn. Where is it? Lee Hodges into. Oh, you have even more money here. This is great. You turn him into Bridgman. I thought Bridgman would have way more ownership. I guess I was just dead wrong about that.
Yeah, some of that stuff in that range is going to go overlooked too, just because people are on the highs and the lows there.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Turn Kevin you into Keith Mitchell if you want. So then you're Grazerman, Thorbjornsen, Clanton, Akshay, Mitchell, Bridgman.
Yeah, it's only about 8 points off the original chalk version we looked at, but this is much different with a 9, 4 8s, and a 7.
I don't feel like you're really giving up any. Maybe I'm, again, dead wrong on this, but just because you don't play Burns, McNeely, Goddard, or Wyndham Clark, I don't feel like you're really missing out.
Yeah, if you were to go 2 up top and do something like McNeely, Wyndham Clark, you still have almost 7,500 left. Like you could still do your, who did we mention earlier? You mentioned Perez, Eckroat,
Hodges, Eckroat,
what is that?
Bridgman.
I think Hodges lands us on the lineup. Let's see here. And yeah, there you go. This is a nice lineup, actually. And you can pick your poison between Bhatia and you. So you get McNeely, Clark. You play your Eckroat, Perez as opposed to Putnam down low. And then you, if you're pivoting there in that sense, and then it gets you on Lee Hodges and an 8K guy. So, yep, change Bridgman.
What does 82 get us? 82 only gets us Scott. You know what? I'm liking this Clanton over Akshay and you in DraftKings lineups.
So you want to bring Hodges down and then go to Clanton and leave the money.
Yeah, Hodges down to Bridgman, Clanton, and leave $100 on the table.
Yeah, perfect. That's another way you can do it for sure.
That's it. That's a really interesting one. This is actually a pretty good. Like looking at these guys objectively, all 6 of them, I think it actually looks pretty good, which is probably the death knell that you could ever have.
Well, because here's the thing, even in the definitely now in this version, you're fine to get away with it because I don't see much ownership going to Eckroat, Bridgman, Perez. Like I think a lot of people would have some version of Hostler or Bez in the Eckroat Perez spots. I think more people will have Putnam. I think more will have Bhatia over Clanton. So this is where you get different while still playing McNeely at the top. And then we know Clark is going somewhat overlooked up there at just 9,800. At 9,800 with that range that he's in, he's going somewhat overlooked. So I think that's another way you could build it to be different.
We could also take a look at the win probability tab and just see who has the best chance to win this tournament per simulations, if that's the way that you wanted to look at it. Sam Burns is number 1, Goddard, Grazerman, Clark, Mav McNeely. So that makes a ton of sense. It's actually then Taylor Pendrith, Siwoo, Akshay, Kevin Yu, Matt McCarty, Doug Gim. That's your top 10 in win probability. So the best bets from that range, honestly, would be Kevin Yu based on his current number, and that's about it. Matt McCarty as well, who I love betting when he misses the cut, and never bet him when he comes inside the top 5.
Trying to see who are some of the other names you just mentioned. Who was the you said Akshay was in there, right?
Yep.
And you said Pendrith was in there and Goddard?
Yep.
So what about this lineup? Goddard, Pendrith, Bhatia, Yu, close it out with McCarty, Gim. The win equity special.
Yeah, the win equity special would love that. Who was
and then if you take Pendrith down to Siwoo, sorry.
Wait, who was the other guy in that? McCarty was the last guy in that.
McCarty. And then you can swap. Would you go Goddard, Pendrith, or McNeely, Siwoo?
McNeely, Siwoo. Just you know how much I don't want to play Goddard. Goddard's going to win again now that I really don't like him. But it was what?
Ooh, Kevin, you got all your guys together in this one.
So this one's Mav and who? Siwoo?
Mav Siwoo is just what I swapped over Pendrith and Goddard.
How do you feel about Finau?
Probably going to crush just because. But I don't know. He was out the other night enjoying the Happy Gilmore 2 premiere. So who knows what he's up to these days.
He plays this tournament every year. He played well for the first 2 rounds at the Open, then just went away.
Yeah. That is of note, and he definitely plays well at this course. Although the year that I was talking about earlier in 2023, he shot a bogey-free, birdie-free round, I believe it was, to end the tournament and cost himself what looked like a shoo-in for a win. It was just horrible. He couldn't make anything on that Sunday, but still got the job done for everything that was needed. So
that was that the year that he won, or was that the year he lost to Michael Thompson?
No, it was Hodges won that year.
Oh, Hodges won by 7, I think.
Yeah. When the day started, if you go back to that calendar, I'm not going to do this, but just to tell you, because I was there and remember it, Finau was definitely in the mix and the big time favorite. And then he just missed everything inside of 6 feet on the Sunday.
Pulled a Pat Mayo from yesterday. So this is interesting when I look at win percentage per the simulations. And this gets a bit more jumbled when you start looking at top 10s and top 20s, which is probably more pertinent. But I thought it was funny to see these guys all in a line in terms of win probability. Rico Hoey, 1.9%. Davis Thompson, 1.7. Ben Ann, 1.65. Knapp, 1.6. Thorbjornsen, 1.54. Bridgman, 1.54. Putnam, 1.48. Kitayama, 1.46. Sam Stevens, 1.48. Hosler, 1.4. Eckroat, 1.4. Kevin Roy, 1.4. They're all the same guy.
Yeah, basically. That's how I'm thinking about it.
And made cut percentage for this tournament. I love these new tools. Announcement coming later today, so be on the lookout for that. Burns, Pendrith, Grazerman, Clark, McNeely are your 5 most likely to make the cut.
I found the Pat Mayo special of the year lineup.
Ooh, I would love to hear about this.
This is the one you want right here, Pat.
Done. Should I enter it in like the $200 single entry?
Oh, yeah.
I have to put more money in my account because I only have $12 in my account right now.
You won't like the ending, but it's the point to be made. The first 5 guys are what matters. So here we go. Put in your boy Siwoo.
Okay.
Kevin Yu.
You.
Lee Hodges.
Ooh.
Who you really like this week.
Hold on. It's not so much that I really like Lee Hodges, is that I've bet Lee Hodges, I think 3 times over the last 3 months, that I would be really upset with myself if I bet him at the place where he's played the best in his career at 65-1 and he won. I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's why we got to do this. We cannot have, I'm not going to put Sung Jae in this because I know he's going to hurt your feelings in round 1. But if you put Siwoo, you put these guys in, now you get to put the Gim Reaper.
Ooh.
Kevin Boy Toy Roy.
Sexy Roy.
Roy.
And Sam Burns.
And on the favorite for the tournament. Whether you like Sam Burns or not, you get the favorite in there. This is the Pat Mayo special. Everyone dupe us. Everyone play this. It's going to be phenomenal when this wins.
I love this. Love this lineup. Looking at the best players from, I wouldn't say like down low in terms of made cut percentage, but Doug Gim is inside the top 10 in made cut percentage for this tournament. Okay. So is Adam Scott, Matt McCarty, and Bo Hostler. Then Bridgman, Putnam, Hoey. They're ahead of guys like Akshay, Ricky, Kevin Yu in terms of just making the weekend.
All right, let's see what that
So McCarty, Hostler, Bridgman. If we put those guys down at the bottom, how are we looking?
I was going to put your boy Gim in there too and see if we could get a double whammy. And you can. You can play Burns McNeely with Gim, McCarty, Bridgman, Hostler. That's interesting right there. Because McCarty's popped up twice now. It still doesn't even use it skips over Bhatia and Uchok. It doesn't use Putnam. You get double stud up top. That's a different build for sure this week.
All right. Anything else you got?
No, I think feel pretty good about it. The one thing I will say, we didn't spend a lot of time on the 6K range. That just tells you everything you need to know. Going back to our original point to tie the whole show together, if you are going to go into the 6K, I don't think you need to, because while there is some guys in the 68, 69 range that you could call them the same as the 7s, we always do, and it's true. It just proves that you just don't really need to go there. So if you are going to go there, try and be right, meaning take enough of your guy and then mix it around up top so that you actually have combinations with them versus trying to spread it out and just get 10, 15 different guys down there, unless you got a portfolio of like 150 to 300 lineups across multiple tournaments or something that you want to get a bigger portfolio. But for the most part, if you play lighter, play tighter, that's something I would stick to. That's what I got.
Yeah. So let's just try to name, if we can, some of our favorites. Although I just lost. Do you have the lineup saved? I just lost a lineup.
The one that we just had?
No, the one 2 ago that had all my favorites in it. You, Hodges.
Oh, yeah, it's you, Siwoo, Hodges, Gim, Sexy Roy, and the favorite for the tournament, Sam Burns.
Roy, I'm missing one guy here. You, Hodges, Siwoo, Burns, Roy. 7,300 was Gim, right?
Yeah, I got to see this right now. We're live, but Thorb just came in and said, Superman, that hoe is crazy. We need to get this week. We are praying that he comes through so we can get the Thorb mix that involves that perfectly, because even try and throw it in there either way. That's my suggestion. But yeah, I think that's a good call.
Looking at my modeling, just very short term, I'm just trying to find if people do want to go down to the 6K range. Sure. Kevin Roy is actually number 1 in the stats that I looked at. Oh, that's not true. Let's look at my 3M open one. Not just in general strokes gained. It is Roy. Thorbjornsen's 1, Roy is 2, Goddard, Knapp, Eckroat, Kitayama, Champ, Davis Thompson, Sam Burns, and Ventura, your boy. That's the top 10. So Ventura's a 68 guy. Snedeker actually pops, which is weird. I'm not going to play Snedeker, but I thought that was interesting. Thirsty Lawrence at 69, Suber at 69. All those guys are inside the top 20. If you're looking for 6K guys, the only other one inside the top 30, there's two in the 6K range. It's Rosner and Nick Hardy at $6,700. So,
yeah, there was some lineups in there for sure. With those names you mentioned, you could definitely build some lineups off of that. So I think that's a good call.
My issue is that unless you play maybe you really do want to go double up top. Like, if you told me I couldn't play Sam Burns this week, like, Pat, you have to enter $1,000 worth of lineups, but you're not allowed to play Sam Burns in any of them. I don't feel like I would be that far behind everyone. Yeah,
you wouldn't care, is what you're saying. Yeah. Obviously, you won't know what you are until it happens, but I get what you're saying. And I think that sentiment exists, but it's more just a product of the old pricing being back. So there is between 6,800 and up where you could make a case for some guys. There's almost 60 golfers from 6,800 up to 7,900. So within that range, it's just people are going to be able to get there. And so they're naturally going to land on the guys at the top, probably McNeely, but could be Burns. If they have the $200, I think people do just use it. And I may as well just go to him. So you can definitely do some stuff. People asked earlier about leaving money on the table. Any week you can. The optimal is probably 45K at a tournament like this all the time. Sure. But you're not going to build for that. And I guess the thought process for me would be like, if you land on 10-5 remaining, you don't have to play Burns if you don't think it's Burns. Play McNeely, leave a couple hundred. Play Goddard up, leave 500. You're only picking between the winner at that point. You don't need in your build, if you will. Your winner could be a part of the other 5, but you don't need to run back down and immediately go to 2v2s. You can just say, I've got Wyndham Clark over those top 3. I got 10-5 left. I'm going to leave the money and play Wyndham Clark. It's up to you. I'm just saying that's more the way I would look at it. Speaking of build, we got to take some questions. I got to go to the gym to work on my build. Now that I can lift weights again, it's fantastic news. Carson asks, I'm in one and done, and I'm currently 30th of 250. Would you go Burns to try to get down the board or a bit to be different? If that was me and I was trying to move up in the money, I would not use Sam Burns. If that was me, I would have been in the Mayo one and done with the better field size and prize pool. But we appreciate it, and 30th is a spot to be in. So I don't know. I think for me, I would use somebody else because there's still 29 guys ahead of you, and anyone who has Burns left is probably going to use him. So unless you think Burns is the winner, then I would pick someone else beyond that. Yeah. It really sounds like Pendrith might be the pick. Like, if you really wanted to have a good player in terms of odds who projects out for win probability that literally no one is using, he's the guy. I don't know whether he's going to be any good or not, but I can assure you no one will own him. I can assure you that you won't be able to see my phone on the screen, but I am in 2,300th place. And my pick for this week is Taylor Pendrith. So you called it. That's the spot. You just got to try him out. Doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Listen, what means more to you? Coming in 30th or 46th or potentially getting up to the top 10? That's what it's all about. Either you're just playing to win, got to play that way. So I think, Carson, good question. I think I would for sure be aiming for, like Pat said, and just don't try and sneak up there. Try and take it over. Ryan asks, is Haotong going to keep it going? After watching him drive the ball, I don't feel like this is a good course for him. Yeah, it's going to be tough. A lot of water on the right on this course, if people may remember. Yes, that's another thing as well. But I think, yeah, it's Cuddy. Yeah, price is whatever, fair, I guess. But 79, he's going to have like no ownership. The problem is with him is there's just too many guys around him, like so many options. Chandler Phillips? Nothing Chandler Phillips this week. I didn't even think of his name. Although he appeared in one of these optimals that I ran. He appeared in 2 of the optimals. Projections like Chandler Phillips. He can make birdies. So it's more of if he makes the weekend, he can score for you. But he's been pretty boom bust, and that's kind of what you want in a guy like that. He's got a 13th and a 15th, but that's amongst 4 missed cuts, a 63rd, and a 32nd. So it's like he's not going to do much for you unless he does. So putting him in your pool if you have a ton of lineups, I got no problem with it. If he's just your single entry that you're looking for down there's so many other options around him. CK Picks asks, is Kevin you winning? Yes, he is. And if he doesn't, one of your other bets hopefully do. Yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on Mark Hubbard? I have none. Having takes on 156 guys, every one of the 156 guys in a really weak field, just there's going to be guys who slip through the cracks. And that's usually a good barometer of guys that aren't going to be owned if you like them, honestly. You have a big announcement coming up. Do you have less takes this week, Pat, because you made 2.7 million over the last 2 weeks?
I made way more than that.
Okay, well, that's good. So there you go. That could be part of it. But yeah, I always say this about everybody, and that's why these picks and stuff, as much as I harp on, it's not annoying. It's just it's tough to get. Like you said, you and I could definitely sell a positive and negative spin. I take the positives, you take the negatives, or vice versa on pretty much any golfer in this field and poke holes in each other on the setup of what you're saying. I could say, yeah, but this. So it really comes down to the difference of what we do the rest of the show in the lineup construction, where other people are landing, ways that you could sort of play it against them differently and play the game versus playing the players. That's what it's always going to be about.
Well, in your DFS Mastermind program, I assume that one of the most logical things that you can do is control what you can actually control. You can't control what the players actually do. Yeah. You can do the research. You can say, hey, there's a probability for this. There's a probability for that. What you can better project is what the rest of the field is going to do and how you construct your lineups to get a path to the top versus duplicating people. And that's really what you preach.
Yeah, I talk about it a ton. I used the poker analogy yesterday. A lot of people can relate to that, but there is players out there that are good enough at poker that can show up to the table, not look at the cards in a sense. I'm sure they, peek in whatever, but they're playing the game, right? They're playing the man, they're playing the person, whatever you want to say for bluffing and different factors. It's not quite the same, but a lot of the principles do come across. And it's the idea of if you know the field and what the field is up to. And by the way, in PGA DFS, it's the one that we typically have better ownership projections than some of the other sports. I know some will scoff at that, but if you look at some of the NBA or NFL projections for ownership this past couple of years, it's been tricky with contest sims and all that stuff. So playing the game, staying in the game, bankroll management, contest selection, sustainability, and then playing against the field, the results will be because of a certain golfer or because of, Scotty wins is what makes your lineups come through. But how you got to that and ways to think about it are what the Mastermind Project is all about. You guys can check that out. Actually put out a free course. It's on my X account at Totag and Tambo. It's pinned at the top. You can go download the free course, the DFS Blueprint, and it's yours free. Just go sign up.
Go Collect has said that you got this, Pat. The yips aren't real. Listen, I don't have the yips. I'm just missing putts by like an inch to the right every single time. And then I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll just aim an inch to the left, Tambo. Guess what happened?
What happened?
Left.
Yeah, there you go.
Putting, I am convinced putting is 100% about confidence. That if you stand over a putt thinking that you're going to miss, you are most definitely you will find a way to miss that putt. You don't have to think that you're going to make every single putt, but you have to feel somewhat confident like, hey, if I get this good stroke on it, this will go in. Whether it goes in or not, who knows? But I feel like you make way more of those than you stand over like, oh my God, I hope I don't three putt.
Yeah, sample size. I'm big on sample size. It's always going to be tricky to math this out and as we watch it in real time. But I use this this example, and I've used it a bunch of times. But like Patrick Cantlay will walk up to a putt, and everyone knows and makes fun of how slow he is. It's a 5-foot putt or a 4-foot putt. He'll go over and analyze the shit out of it, and then miss, and it lips to 3 foot 11 inches, and then he just walks up and taps it in. It's like, why did you need 10 minutes to analyze a 4-foot putt to then go miss it? And then when you walk up to it on 311 for just 1 inch shorter putt, you just tap it in like it's nothing. It's because it's what you said. You're thinking about it too much or you're overthinking it. It's definitely a spot that becomes real. We've seen it so many times with pressure on the line, all these different factors as well.
Last one is from Todd. The Todd, maybe from Scrubs. Who knows? Thoughts on David Foreskins as the 6K play this week? We didn't mention Dussolaire in skins. They might be the most bet on first round leaders I've ever seen outside of like Keith Mitchell that week after he had like 3 in a row.
That's true. Should we be betting Keith Mitchell first round leader this week?
I thought about Keith Mitchell, but I went with the idea that I would stick with the AM wave, and I believe he's in the PM. Yeah. I might be wrong though. Maybe I'll go look at this.
He's in the PM AM.
Yeah. Which again could be fine.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
That's the angle that I'm taking, which is to narrow first round leaders tough enough. I'm going to try to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and Greg, I'm finished one last though because I like Greg says there is no logic at 3M. There is true in a sense, but like what I talked about earlier is so crucial. It's funny that is probably true because of how much water and risk and variance and all that. Yet people still gravitate to all the same shit. It's like if you know there's higher variance here than other courses, other events, other factors, and from a DFS perspective, you go back in the history with Cut Sweat. Shout out to Nelson Adcock, and you go look at all the history. 6-6 has an extremely low rate at this tournament. If you know that going in, my point earlier about what I'm talking about, if you already know that, then why the hell are you building lineups that are chalky as shit trying to get there with those? It's just so unlikely, and it always has been. It's a new year. It's a new event. I get that, but there is higher variance, yet people play it like it's a safety pick event. Like, oh, I got all the safe picks. Let me just throw them all together. No, horrible.
Yeah, use the safe picks for the heritage.
Some in the Masters or something where we know that this stuff exists, and it's like, yeah, you're going to have to try and beat the chalk on that week. It doesn't make it more fun or anything, but it just, this is not the safety week. So just keep that in mind. Take your shots, take your chances. It's worth it at an event like this.
Yeah, so I will have that announcement coming either later tonight or tomorrow morning, because I just got an email that it was promised as an exclusive to a media outlet that is far bigger than me. So I got to wait for them to do it. Then I can come out with what I am going to say. I'll put it in the newsletter. I'll put it up on the YouTube channel, the pod feed, all that fun stuff. But I will have a 3M cheat sheet newsletter full with all of the updated weather, the final picks, the final bets, those first round leaders. Once I decide on them, that is going to come out tonight. Is your boy GS Luke live tonight on Ship It Nation?
He is. GS Luke is going to be live on Ship It Nation. And I'm glad your announcement is coming out now because, one, I'm very excited for it. I know everybody else will be, so stay tuned for that. But 2 weeks, August 6th, mark your calendars, a massive announcement for Ship It Nation for the upcoming NFL season. And the no S's in massive, $2 signs instead. It's going to be very, very big. The biggest promotion we've ever done at shipitnation.com. I advise you to get in on the NFL early bird package now. It is sales, but it's also, there's no fluff to this one. It'll be well worth your money. The most valuable membership that you can buy out there. And you'll see why.
All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Good luck at the 3M Open. Give me your favorite 6K guy, Jackson Super, for me down in the comment section. And I